into the global talent pool of the young generation. The young generation has a lot of talents and is eager to express their ideas, to communicate, and what's also very important is that they are very well organized in social groups. Many ideas are from the world of even restaurants, cafeterias, giving good menus, choosing the right cocktails which could be served, and from many other branches. I wanted to also show you one example from publishing. Our colleague, professor of history in America, Jason Vujic, has published a book named Yugo, the worst car in history, or the rise and fall of the worst car in history. For those who might not know, Yugo was a small car manufactured in ex-Yugoslavia and was the first car which was exported to America. Jason Vujic took the car as a symbol, I should say, about not only Yugoslavia and its success, but also of the limits of the socialist production, which could always produce a lot, a number, and the quantities, but not the qualities. So it was the fall of Yugo together with the fall of Yugoslavia, but the book became a bestseller in America. I contacted Jason, and in one of the mails he asked me, Sinisa, could you organize or inform your students and your friends and ask them to send me their real stories about some events that happened driving Yugo cars. So some were funny, some were very bad, and so on. What were the real stories about Yugo? Because I would like, in the second edition, to add these stories into the publication and to have that, completed with the testimonials of the people. And it gave me the idea. I was thinking, what's Jason doing? He is, in fact, crowdsourcing, because now we are becoming the co-authors of his text. And concluding with all these successful and interesting examples how you can use the crowd, I wanted to ask you all to send me your ideas about crowdsourcing, and if you know for some good examples of crowdsourcing in your countries, in Russia, in Italy, in America, and from where we are the participants of the conference, please do not hesitate to send me, and I would also like to be a part of the process of crowdsourcing. There are very many now examples that the crowd is playing a significant role in our production of goods or services. For instance, in cultural institutions. If the Museum of Oppression in the past KGB building in Tomsk would like to create an exhibition, it would be also interesting the exhibition to be somehow, let's say, derived from the wishes and to be the result of the activity of the crowd. There are a lot of objectives that could be reached when you use crowdsourcing as a process. One of the main objectives or results of the process is establishing a two-way communication. And that's why the crowdsourcing is many times used as or understood as a part of the public relations, or keeping the contact with the audience, or establishing two-way communication. But it's really not only that, and it's not a new mantra of PR, it's more a productive source. The second benefit is that you can use the unlimited power of the talent of the people. They could be your consumers, your clients, your visitors. So the talent does not live only in this room or at your university or in some groups. The talent is all around us. So this is one unlimited source that could be used in producing our values. And this is also there is also another one objective which could be reached. It is to produce something that really fits our needs. So we like this kind of a program, mixing Lorraine with Dima or Lorraine with Buranovsky babushki. This is what do we think. We like this combination, and the other part of the potential visitors would prefer the other combination. So what is fitting our needs? Finally, why not saying that this could be a new pool of cheap labor? Even the crowd can do corporate research and development. You know, many times I say to the companies exhibiting at the trade shows, each visitor is very important. Sometimes some retired scientist or university professor who came just for a hobby to see your products. Listen carefully to his remarks. So the crowd could be a source for the R&D department of your business or your institution. There is no magic wand how to make the best use of the crowdsourcing. Sometimes you can be very successful, sometimes not. But there are principles. There are some principles or preconditions that you have to pass in order to introduce crowdsourcing in your philosophy of the company, of the museum, of the institution, or of the event agency or event organizing agency. So considering carefully the experiences that we could research in this, let's say, last 3 years, there were a lot of examples, we came to some conclusions. One of the conclusion is that first of all, you have to create the landscape of the virtual societies and virtual networks. What does it mean? So one point is speaking about the crowd. The another one is who is representing the crowd. Which part of the crowd is relative for your business? Not all of us, maybe for consuming Colgate, it could be all of us, but still maybe young people who have shiny white teeth. So even in that example, when the product is of large consume, it is important to define who is the crowd, what is the crowd, and how to articulate the crowd. So the first precondition is designing the landscape of the crowd. Designing the landscape of the crowd is supporting social groups and social networks. For instance, if we take into consideration one museum, like a museum of oppression, the crowd should be the relatives and the families of those who were imprisoned in the campus, the citizens of Tomsk, let's say the servants or the professionals of the services, secret services and the others who were managing all that, and so on and so on. So there are particular groups who could be organized in the virtual society and give us the answer. Like, for instance, webcams of our squares. If I go to the internet and see the webcams, a live webcam from Tomsk, I see some squares, but the drivers who are driving every morning to their jobs should say what crossroads have to be broadcasted to have an instant information, should they pass through that area or avoid the crossroad. The second one is giving a choice. So even crowdsourcing is not doing something out of nothing. So before expecting something, you should have to invest some time or some money in organizing the let's say the information about the idea, give more information to the crowd and so on. The Public Relations Society of America has adopted a new definition of PR. They wanted to replace the old one. They made a call to their members, and finally they put 3 proposals to be voted, and then they gave the power to their members of the PR Society of America to vote for the new definition. In the same time, the American Marketing Association adopted the definition by the board of the society, of the association. So this is a little bit different. Finally, not finally, but one of the preconditions, the third one, is considering the crowdsources as a kind of our intrapreneurial activities. So speaking about the crowd of our internal factor. So we all have the right to be entrepreneurial. The fourth precondition for the success of the whole process is that the process has to be visible, sound, and accepted, not only by the people, but also very well accepted by all the managers of your museum, your concert agency, or your company which is manufacturing some products. Finally, I come to the end, because I think for a good success, all these 4 preconditions are very important, but above all, I think that there is the 5th one, is to have trust. Trust, trust, and trust. If we trust to our audience, if we trust to our consumers, if we trust to our groups, then we have to realize the process in the best way.